Okay, this other idea I want to talk about is spirituality. Now, there's an idea that I coined for myself, and I ran into other people that also coined it separately, because I think the idea is really out there. And it's the idea of a spiritual atheism. You don't need theism to be spiritual. Theism is one approach to spirituality. But you don't really want to call your atheistical approach to spirituality atheistic. That still defines it in terms of theism. And it's really more like a materialistic spirituality, or a material spirituality, where we believe that the whatever it is that's spiritual is a part of the material world like everything else. Now, you can see this issue by considering other feelings. I mean, consider this. The feeling of lust. Now, this is a feeling that you experience, and then you might figure out what it means later. If we didn't communicate with each other so much before we reach puberty, then that's what humans would be doing. Other animals, presumably are doing that. They're experiencing their own lust and the lust of others, and then they have to explain this. We didn't always know. Humans, even with all this communication and everything, some humans have come up with theories that it's really, there to tempt us and things like this, that it's a force working against us. Whereas, what do we know? By assuming that lust is a material component, we discover then lust is the DNA trying to motivate us to procreate. Okay? And similarly with other feelings that we've had to explain. You can imagine if you're an infant or a baby having feelings for the first time, or noticing them, that you have these feelings a lot, and then you notice them, and then you maybe figure out what they're about. And you can make these metaphysical assumptions of what they're about. And that all works out because you're motivated to go and do materially whatever it says. So something like hunger, easier to explain. It makes you want to eat. And why do you eat? Well, the breatharians say you don't need to, but it's because you need nutrients. Hunger is therefore a way of sensing chemically that you need more nutrients, or at least that your body thinks it needs more nutrients. And the same with thirst, the same with all sorts of feelings. We explain the feelings. So that comes back to spirituality. People have spiritual experiences. What are these experiences? Now, one person was saying to me that, to a whole group actually, but anyway, including to me, that you'll never prove spirituality, so it shouldn't be considered. And I agree with that kind of a principle, that if something really cannot be considered, don't consider it. Okay, because you're only fooling yourself. If it can't be considered and you're considering it, you're fooling yourself. So, but spirituality can be considered. It's just like this, having these feelings of lust. I'm trying to explain, well, what is that? Now, if you think about my definition of enlightenment, and you think about the fact that what people report as spiritual experiences are often a feeling of oneness and completeness with what surrounds them, and also being made of a completely interlocking set of parts, then you see that maybe the feeling of spirituality is the DNA trying to motivate us to more enlightened frames of reference. Entirely biochemical, not metaphysical at all, except for this aspect of where do we come from, why are we alive? There's metaphysics at the edge still. But it's really just a biochemical explanation of, in order to survive, we need to procreate and eat, and perhaps in order to survive, we also need to see things from a more and more enlightened frame. Not even other animals might not have that need. Perhaps that's a human need. That's how I think that goes together, and that we're trying to explain spiritual experiences. And, I don't look for a metaphysical explanation of that. I expect it to be biological, like the rest of the feelings, and material.